Should you buy an iPhone 7 and 7 Plus? Hopefully this video will give you a little bit of consumer insight. Now, I've had this phone for about 4 days. I do have the 7 Plus in matte black, or black as they call it. I wish they would have gave that name matte black, because this is definitely matte black. And let me just go over, before we get into, I'm just going to go down the site and tell you my experience. And this is going to be a true, unbiased review. It's going to seem that way. It's going to seem like I'm an Apple fanboy. I mean, disregard. Let's get into the phone. All right, looking at the screen, you have your standard Plus screen. You know, everything's the same about the screen except way down in the bottom where you have a solid state button, which everyone says is kind of weird whenever you get into, which it kind of was. I mean, I kind of felt it and I was like, whoa, that's not right. That's not my home button. And then, you know, like an hour passed and I was used to it. And it's pretty cool. You have your settings where you can change how firm it clicks. Just like the new MacBook and the MacBook Pros. You know, you got your 3D touch with the touchpad that doesn't move, which I just think is the best thing ever. 3D touch for the screen is just, and for the trackpad, is literally game-changing. But this button, I don't think it's that game-changing. And I think the big change with the home button was to prepare us for no home button, and also to prepare us, well, to give us our waterproofing that has happened on the 7 and 7 Plus. So let's get right into it. Watch the design. We kind of already went over the design. Oh, let me talk about the back. We haven't talked about the design at all. The black, I do have the matte black version. This is the jet black that you're seeing here. The matte black version is super nice. I was very worried it was going to be kind of like the 5, where the paint kind of felt like paint. Now, this kind of feels like anodized, very slick, very premium kind of feel to it. I can't explain it. It's just, it's aluminum and it feels very nice. The Apple logo also is a glossy black and it kind of just makes the phone look very stealthy. I'll show you an image of it as we scroll down their website down below. But there's the back. Also, I'm looking at the dual cameras on the 7 Plus, the quad LED. It looks like there's a microphone in between there. And as we move to the bottom, the most controversial thing ever, the removal of the headphone jack. Do I hate it? No, I don't hate it. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, false! You hate it, you despise it, you just love Apple, and you're like, oh well, I guess I don't have a headphone jack now. No. I never really used the headphone jack, except whenever I was like working or doing something that I was away from my laptop, I was away from my iPad, or any other form of sound. Any other form of where I could go to YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or something like that and listen to some tunes, it would be my phone. And I'm one of those people that really enjoy the earpods, the things that come in the box, and a lot of you are just, blasphemy. You hate those. I hate those. Everyone hates those. I don't. They fit my ears unlike anything else. And trust me, I have been through so many headphones. In my life, I've probably owned over 100 pairs, or 100 pair. Yeah, 100 pairs? I have not owned 100 pairs. I don't even think I like pairs. Let me think. Pairs. Oh my, shout out to Rick Ross. No, I went through many brands, Bose, Beats, tried some Sennheisers, but at the end of the day, nothing fits in my ear quite as well as the shape. Now, I will have to say the Bose that I did have, or tried, they have like this little thing, I don't know, it sticks in your ear and it holds very nicely and they're very cushiony and oh so good, but it just kind of, their rubberized crap that gets shoved into my ear just finds its way out. And that was the biggest beef that I had with Beats, is that all of their stuff fell out of my ears, especially, oh, let me see, I got the box over there, what's it called? Your Beats, or iBeats. iBeats? Yeah, iBeats. They were metal, super heavy, and I would just tilt my head and they would just come tumbling out. But these things are so light and they just fit in there. Maybe I've just been using them. Well, I have ever since they came out, but I use the Lightning, and I kind of went on a rant there. You guys are bored now, but I really don't mind it. I don't mind that at all. Now, the sides of the device, you're looking at your volume controls and your switch mute lock. That hasn't changed. And on the other side, you do have your lock and unlock button, which hasn't changed in the past 2 generations either. This is the one that we're looking at right here. Now, I'm just going to start scrolling down here and telling you guys my experience with everything. Takes a splash, makes a splash, takes a splash. Waterproofing. Is this thing waterproof? Yeah, it is. Of course it is. It's a meter for 30 minutes. While I do know that there are other better waterproof phones, and I don't really see the idea of having a very great waterproof phone, and the urge of people like, oh, we want it waterproof, I want to go swimming. I kind of see it if you want to listen to music, but then again, you're gonna have to have Bluetooth. I mean, not Bluetooth, but you're going to have waterproof headphones as well. And really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what phone it is, what rating it has. If I'm going to go swimming with a phone, it's going to be in a LifeProof with, water-resistant headphones as well. The best kind of feature for this is if you drop it in the toilet, or if you just, maybe it goes in the washing machine. It doesn't spin. It can't spin. It cannot spin. But it goes in there in your pocket, and you just know at the right time, like, whoa, got to take it out. And you just shake it off, and you're good to go. So I'm talking about the 7 Plus. The 7's great too. They're all great phones, kind of, not really, but it's Apple's best phone that they've had so far, speed-wise and just performance-wise. The camera, let's talk about that camera, because that camera is banging. Even the just normal 7 camera is very good. You're seeing a 12 megapixel camera. I don't think anything's changing. A lot of people don't know, but the higher megapixel count isn't necessarily the most important feature of a camera. You could have a 24 megapixel camera, but this iPhone right here will take better pictures, So the megapixels, they don't really matter. It's all about that sensor in there, and I don't think they display or tell us exactly what the sensor size is. But it's all, there's so many things that make a camera good. The megapixel count is really not up there. A lot of people are just like, oh, it's 12 megapixels, it should be good. Or like, oh, it's 7, it must suck. It is what it is, and there's an appropriate number for everything, but overall, this camera is very good. Image stabilization, if you're recording videos. I will have to say, everything Apple Pro has a video. It's a 4K video shot with the iPhone 7 Plus, I believe, and it is very, very good. You've got to watch that. You have to. The FaceTime. Oh, the selfie camera. White girls going crazy on Snapchat. You're going to like it because it's good, I guess. I think it's 1080p. Just selfies. Oh, man. The quad LED flash. I haven't used flash. I don't like flash. Every time I think of flash, I think of like a big NASCAR or a big football event. And all you see is these little teeny flashes having it up in the stands. I'm like, what? Are you lighting up the field with your flash? Oh, I stole that from Louis C.K. So the flash. What I use the flash is for the flashlight. The flashlight that's now built into it. I used to have to download an app for that, but now Apple is smart and they added it in. Finally, they added that in, and it's very good for lighting up, trying to find that keyhole while it's dark at night. So right here, you've got the digital and optical. Well, this is the optical zoom, and then 10 times digital zoom. I will have to say that digital zoom, though, oh my God, it is very good, and it's really, the best I've seen on a phone. However, I do know other phones do offer optical zoom, but Apple's kind of known for their really good cameras, so keep that in mind. Now, the display. Let's talk about them colors. It's pretty good. It's definitely, I can definitely tell an update from their last products. The color, it's because of the color gamut. Now, a lot of people say, wow, Apple just has a 1080p screen. My phone has a 4K screen, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much going to be the same. The only big difference that your 4K display might have is, well, an OLED display, which is much, much better than what Apple is putting into their phones right now. Your blacks are the pixel turning off. Well, it can get darker than that, just pure black. and it just makes everything pop a little bit more. Plus, color gamut is a little bit better. I think if Apple finally adopts the OLED display, and or I think they have a patent for the display that is better than OLED, we're gonna have to see how that pans out. But I think that they can do some really, really big updates with an OLED display. Now, this 3D touch, it may sound like a gimmick. However, I use it on a daily, and I think it's one of the best features of upgrading to a 6S or a 7. I think the 3D touch is 100% worth it, and I think, like I said on the MacBooks, 3D touch really just, oh man, I can't explain, because it is a gimmick. On paper, it's a gimmick. Like, oh, you can press harder? Yeah, you can. And it does something magical. It opens up more options, but not only that, just whenever you start using it and you switch to another phone, you can really tell the difference, and you're really wanting that back. At least that's just me. I mean, this is all subjective. You could take this with a grain of salt, but I do think the 3D touch is amazing, and I'm glad that Apple has that. Next up, we have this Fusion chip, the A10. Now let's talk about the Yeah, it's bad. I mean, yeah, it's there. It's very apparent. You can hear it, but it's not that loud. You're not going to be sitting there playing on your phone and just get annoyed that very loud sounds are coming from the back of the phone. Don't be alarmed. It's not going to blow up. I paused so you guys could laugh or get very angry in my comment section. Shout out to the Note 7. Boom. Oh, I'm going to get flagged for that one. But yeah, the A10, it's good. It's super good. I mean, it's a quad core, but not really. It's a dual core on steroids, because it has really just 2 cores for high performance and 2 cores for low performance, and that gives you an overall better battery life. And that brings us in to the longest battery life ever in an iPhone. And I do have the 7 Plus, and I have to say, this battery lasts me all day. Wow, does it last me all day? And I really use my phone. If I'm not in front of this computer, I'm in front of my phone, and that's just how it is. And it lasts me. It lasts me a lot better than the 6S, which I thought had a very good battery life, but this thing has yet to let me down. So the stereo speakers, nothing to write home about. You're not going to be selling out shows just off this iPhone, but really it's a phone. Why would you expect that? However, I do have to congratulate Apple. Now, I don't know why they do this. Like, the speaker's right here. This is clearly the speaker, although a lot of people, I bet, would just be scrolling through here and it's like, what? That's a speaker, and where's that speaker? Oh, it's on the other side. Oh, okay. No, actually, the speaker's... Is it right there? No! I dropped my phone. I dropped the 7, guys. Don't worry, it's not broke. No, the speaker's like right here. And it does a very good job of confusing you. Like, I can't tell that one speaker's facing this way and one's facing me. You would think that this speaker would sound more towards you, but it blends so well, and they did a good job. Congrats to Apple. They made their 2 speakers work at weird angles. But 2 times louder. Yeah. EarPods with lightning connector. I mean, they're the same. If you like EarPods, you'll like those. AirPods, I'm kind of interested in those. Faster LTE. We're not even going to talk about the LTE at all, because that's just subjective. That's whatever company you have. Now, iOS 10 is where it gets the shebang on the 7. I can really tell from the previous generations that iOS 10 was made for the iPhone 7. It runs a lot more smoothly than it did on the 6, which, yes, I do have a friend that has a 6, and I keep tabs on that. The 6S, it ran well, I do have to say. It never really hiccuped at all. That's something you would expect from the current model whenever iOS 10 was released. And just on 7, I can tell that it's just a much better experience at all. Now, this ecosystem is just amazing. Apple's ecosystem, that's something that they have down to a science. But other than that, let's talk about just the general overall, my feel and kind of my end-all review of the iPhone 7. I would say if you're a camera person, definitely opt for the 7 Plus. You will also get an extra gigabyte of RAM. Now, one thing I do have to say for anyone that says, oh, 2 and 3 gigabytes of RAM, that's not good. My phone has 8. I get that. I understand that your phone has 8. But that phone is probably an Android. Now, I'm not hating. I'm not throwing salt. Don't get me. The reason why Androids have to have more RAM and kind of better specs on paper is because Android is ran across multiple devices with many different companies putting their own skin and their own bloatware onto it. And really, at the end of the day, they want pretty much all Androids to work or the Android. Every phone wants the Android experience running the best that it can. So usually 4 gigs is what it has to do, but I guarantee you that these 2 and 3 gig models will outperform because of Apple's just amazing compression system on memory. It works. I don't know what it is. It just works. I like Apple because it works. But okay, so let's get just down into the final review. If you're an Android fanboy, you're not going to like it. If you're an Apple fanboy, you're just going to get it because it's Apple. But if you're a new consumer that you don't know what you want, you haven't been tainted by the internet yet, this is a pretty good phone. I don't think it's your starter phone by no means because, one, it just came out. You can get much cheaper deals on the iPhone 6s, which is basically the same thing, and it has a headphone jack, and it's plenty fast enough to run any of your modern applications. But one thing that you do need to know is that whenever you do decide to get an older phone instead of a newer phone, you're going to be outdated more. You know, you're going to have that 1 year of probably outdated where you're going to be kind of in a frenzy, and at that point you would kind of either know that you like Apple or like the brand that you've bought and you can get the new one, or you're just going to have to stick with it and use an outdated, starting to get slow with all the new updates phone, and then eventually you're just going to have a device that can't update and you're going to be stuck. So is this a good phone? I think it is. I do think there are other Android alternatives, especially, you know, if you enjoy s'mores. What I want you to do is go get a Note 7, make sure it's running Marshmallow, and let that baby roast. Slap it between 2 grams, put chocolate on it if you want, and guess what? You got s'mores. That's something you're not going to get with the iPhone, but if you like snakes and you love the sound of just which is not really a hiss, it's more like I wish I could get that for you on mic. Maybe at the end of this video I add a little clip of the hissing. If you like that, get the phone. Really, it's a great phone. You're not going to go wrong with getting this phone. Personal preference, I would just go up to the bigger model. But I do know that money is involved. I don't know what the difference is. Let's look at the buy options. Let's see what the difference is here. Oh, $100. Definitely, I know $100 is just kind of like, oh, but I could get a case and I could get some earphones or I could get some Bluetooths. Yeah, you could. Or you could just go for the Plus and just have that bigger display, more memory, better overall experience. And really, that's what they want. You know, the adapter comes, this thing. I recommend always getting the 10-watt USB wall adapter. It's going to really charge your devices super fast. And you see what you're getting here. You know, you get everything that you see inside of the box. The packaging is very well. So this concludes the review of the iPhone 7. I've liked mine so far. The only quirks that I've seen with it is once my keyboard for messages, I was typing in, I think this is an iOS 10 thing, an update's probably going to be out to fix it. I was typing in the new like bubble to text back people if you're watching a YouTube video or something, so you don't have to cancel out of that app. And then I double hit the home button, turned off the device, turned it back on, and I just kind of had a permanent keyboard, which was kind of cool because I would see a notification on my watch, and I would just always have a keyboard open, and I could just type back. And I mean, of course, I shut down the phone, turned it back on, and it fixed it. But the hissing, that's kind of weird, and just kind of just overall slipperiness of the phone. I think I dropped it in this video. I'm pretty sure I did. It's super slippery. Gotta get a case. Leave me a case. I should get down in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.